Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as always, what an interesting day we have lined up. I'm just looking at the economic calendar right now. I'll show that in a second. A busy day. Okay? We got a lot of things going on. Already some reports have come out when it came to goods trade balance, which I don't think is something we normally care about, but is certainly something that we care about now. And then we have JOLTS job openings and consumer confidence coming out at 10 Eastern. So crazy. I think when these numbers come out intraday, they're more fun to trade with anyway. They might not be as volatile, maybe because there's a little bit more liquidity with them. But I think that job number right now is super important because what it's doing is it's showing us that it is what the Fed can do, right? If jobs remain strong and everything remains good, then there's not going to be any cuts. It's not the way it's going to happen. If there ends up being some sort of job cut or, the lowering of job increases or something like that, that is going to increase the Fed's ability and likelihood to cut. So let's actually just pop into here real quick. Is it like that? Is it that one? Perfect. So you can see here the SPY hasn't really done anything too much overnight. It's gapped up just a wee bit, right? 0.17 in the SPY, 0.6 in the IWM, which is just really cool. See the IWM up 0.4. But we had this sell-off kind of yesterday, and now we're back up above yesterday's range. I don't think a lot of this matters right now because I think this is all we're just waiting. We're waiting for this report to come out, which is going to be a big one. And if we go over here to our Forex Factory, you can see we have those JOLT open. It says 11, which is my time, so that's 10 Eastern, and consumer confidence, and then a bunch of stuff later in the night with the Aussie dollar, which we don't really care too much about. But just it's one of those, we've already had these numbers. We had some move on that. If you look at 9:30 Eastern, which is 8:30 right here, and a little bit of a spike and then a little bit of a sell-off after that. So small numbers, small amount of action, right? If you haven't been to Forex Factory, just know it's color coded. So yellow is a event that can move the market maybe a little bit, but not that big of a deal. Red is definitely moves the market. This one's usually, if it's red, it's a big market mover. There's some firms and stuff I know out there that won't let you trade red events because they're that big of a deal. And then orange is kind of in the middle, right? Could move the market, but both of those combined are going to be interesting because you're going to get the robots fighting. Okay? They're going to read this report and do a fight, and they're going to do that report and do a fight, and that's going to create some interesting action. And then on top of that, if we go over here to earnings, you can see, like we talked about yesterday, nothing anyone cared about on Monday. On Tuesday, we already have SoFi, we have PayPal. We'll take a look at some of these names that are coming out before the market open. Then at the close, Visa, Starbucks, Mara, not huge, but right, more people care about Visa and credit cards than they do about waste management, so that'll be a big deal. And then Wednesday is where earnings really get going, where we have Microsoft, Meta, and Robinhood. Those are a pretty big deal as well. So, and just more activity, which is good because we're in the summer months. So these are the times that we have an interesting little shot, right? Someone was mentioning car. Yeah, that's one that we want to look at as well. Avis Budget, I think they had to deal with Waymo or something like that. So that could create some movement as well. So a lot of things going on that are interesting. If we take a look at what happened yesterday in the docket, right? MSOS was very interesting. Look at that. MSOS, I guess more news and story about the potential legalization or decriminalization or reschedule, whatever they're calling it. But going to be an interesting day. And with an interesting day, we got an interesting guest. So I'm going to bring in our buddy here, Steve, and see what he's up to. See what you're looking at. Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, going all right. How you doing?
We're doing good.
We
are doing good. Anything in particular you're excited to trade today, or are you just kind of watching the chaos unfold?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at my in my watch list pre-market, and I'm noticing a lot of strength in biotech. That's an area that I'm keeping an eye on. I think that it's just a good kind of, if I want to see how risk on the market is, what better way than to see what their appetite is for biotech, And I think that there are a lot of real good potential plays here in the sector, and we just have to kind of uncover them now that the market might be interested in them as a basket overall.
Yeah, and that could actually have to do. So I think those are going to be really volatile with the numbers coming out here at 10, because biotechs, as we know, are insanely interest rate sensitive, just disgustingly so, because a lot of them, they're not legally allowed to make any money, right? So they're just looking to see, okay, what is the future? How long can we fund this potential operation for? And then from there, then potentially we can make money in the future, but we're not allowed to right now. It's not legal for a lot of these companies. So interesting looking chart. If you take a look at the biotech sector, we've been talking about this a lot. This anchored view app from, we'll call it like a prior cycle high, has been acting as support almost to the tick for like a month here. And then if you look, this is the all-time high anchored view app, which generally speaking, if you can get through that and you can clear through it and hold above it with some frequency, then that's kind of a sentiment shift. It means people who are dollar costing averaging from the all-time high, they're good as well. You can see a lot of this kind of stuff like in Microsoft. If you take that, look at the anchored view app from all-time high when it got above it, even back here on the SPY. If you look at when we finally got above that, you can see how it was resistance a few times if you just bought that breakout. So that's something I'm watching here on XBI to see if we get through that level. That might be an interesting one. And yeah, that's gapping up today when a lot of these sectors are gapping down. Defense is up. Makes sense. Look at that. The chart on defense has been just nuts, just insane.
Yeah.
And I'm just going through a lot of these sectors. Not too much else. It's another defense. It's up. Weed again up 1.6%. SMH up another percent. So semiconductors continue to rip.
Somebody call weed? Like a weed, I come growing in, baby. You can't get rid of me.
So what are you YOLOing MSOX? Is that what's going on? Three times leveraged?
Hey, the only way I play that one is an overnight, man. That's the only way I play that one. But it's not it's not a bad spot to maybe play a little bit, right? It's not a bad swing trade. It's a controlled one, but
I've been taking some shots around the kind of the 350 area. I'm going to add and the 450 on this breakout. I've just been noticing, I did a whole video about it. I've been noticing these low bases have been the way to play. Like you get something that just has stopped going down for a year, not buying the dips, but like DNA is one that I'm watching closely. Right? Just anything that stopped. I think I even have the Wyckoff diagram right here. I think we've talked about this before. Anything that just, I'm not buying on the way down, but show me something that just has stopped going down for like a year and is holding on. Rivian's another one that I'm keeping an eye on. Yeah, just setting alerts for these things up to these highs.
Long-term basis.
Bigger the base, the higher in space. That's a Luis Yamada quote, who's an OG of technical analysis.
Yeah, and you can look like on that Rivian chart, right? Like you can clearly see what I call waves down, right? Those down moves, right? You can see 3 attempts, right? Just give them one more attempt to fake it. If it doesn't break through that zone, it's probably coming right back up for that third resistance. So I'd be looking for the breakdown here versus how everyone's longing Rivian right now. So like, that's my thing. That's my biggest thing that I've been trying to get more of, guys. Right when you think it's the time, it's usually the time when you're going to do that liquidity move. So instead of looking to get in on based of just the technicals look good here, technicals look great, look for liquidity move. That's what I've gotten to. Literally, if the technicals look great, look for the wash and watch it come back, right? So it also helps you because when you look for the wash and when it comes, you don't get so scared. That's what I think happens to a lot of the bullish traders there. They get scared when the wash happens. They get out, then the trade goes higher.
Well, and that's a thing as old as time, right? If we just go right back to what was it, DNA? That Wyckoff. Do I have it on Owlet? This is one that I own.
Owlet, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. Another SPAC, man. You're just loading up on SPACs for me now.
now that they're down 90%, absolutely.
Let's go. SPACs Attack 2.0 coming back. And if you really notice, there's a lot of money that got into SPACs in the last quarter. I will mention that. So there's going to be some more of these.
Well,
What's
yeah,
going to end up happening is that any of them that get love will be mentioned, right? That they're SPACs, right? If they don't get love, they're not going to get mentioned. They get that they're SPACs. But
well, and it's a survivorship bias thing, right? We know that like 20%, I think, of all SPACs went bankrupt and everybody lost all their money. However, right, the ones that survive, that's what these low bases
real
do,
companies, right? Real companies survive. The cream of the crop rises to the top, they say, right?
A little Macho Man Randy Savage quote there. Sure, why not? But yeah, so this is, and it's funny. So I was just talking about Wyckoff, and you were talking about that kind of liquidity sweep lower and then push higher. Dude did this in like 150 years ago is when he came up with these things, right? So just shows you that, it's as long as there are humans participating in the market, that's it. These things are going to be interesting, and these things are going to end up working, right? Like,
take a picture of this with your mind right now. Watch for it today, right?
I think this is the thing, right? So if we go to that Owlet again, I'm irresponsibly long this one as well, but it's the same idea. And the only reason I know what this company is because since it's stopped going down, and I've had it on a watch list, I've had 2 kids. And so those who don't know, this makes it's like an FDA approved sock that you put on your kid, and it does blood oxygen and heart rate and all that kind of stuff, and it will like alert your phone if there's a problem, and it gives just peace of mind for, because as Mitch knows, the scariest part,
right? They got in trouble for a little bit, and that's what caused a lot of the stock decline, right? They got not in trouble, but got like
they got smacked hard. The FDA basically said
FDA
that
stepped in, right?
Yeah, they said the way they were advertising was they weren't allowed to, right?
And it was all about the Owlet sock, right?
Yeah.
We can talk about it if we want. Michael and I have probably done the research.
Well, and I always say like this, this, and Mitch will, I'm sure, agrees. The scariest part of when you have a baby is that first time they actually sleep through the night, because you're up all night saying, "What is?" Like you want to go in and like poke them,
all right?
Just like, why aren't you screaming?
Quiet.
Yeah, you usually scream all of the time. Why aren't you screaming? So yeah, so I bought 2 of these things, and if Mitch has done the reason, they're not cheap. These are
they're not. I have the Nanit, which is the higher competition, but the truth, the only difference is that one was a sock and one was like a belly band. So that was the only difference that I really saw within it. The reason why I went with Nanit is that I could see 2 cameras on one screen versus how on the Owlet I would have needed to scroll through both screens. So that was the only reason I chose a different one than Owlet. But I was with you. I was like right there with Owlet.
Annoying bit. But again, it's like, so you didn't buy was it bodybuilding.com that went bankrupt because it just continued down. You didn't buy the Bird Scooter company.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple here. I can give you a couple of new ones, other ones. So just look at some different ones. Like
because this is the pattern. Is interesting.
B-Fly is one that I like. I would love for them to get some better approval. And if that happened, this is a medical device that does let's say radiation scanning. Like if you broke your arm or something, literally on the go. So not like, it does with ultrasound. It's on the go. All it needs is some more like FDA approval, things like that. Hospitals buying this up. Definitely one that looks like it's bottoming, right? It already had a nice lift off, so it could find some more, right? I think that this is one. There's so many names there, but you mentioned Beachbody. There's Body, BODI. I think it still exists. You see another little bottoming, bottoming chart.
They were done. So yeah, this is a good example. This isn't enough for me. I want to see stop going down for a year,
and then break a trend line. I think that's the key.
Right. So again, this is the perfect example because I've been watching it. I think Chuck was born in 2022, but I was just watching this thing get smoked. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. And then Mila was born 2021, 0.4. These are things that I should know. And by then, I'm just looking at it. All I did is just set an alert for up here, right? Get up to $7. I'm interested, and that finishes that Wyckoff pattern. Because if I were to sit in this thing for years, it would almost be as bad. It would be worse, in my opinion, than just buying it, getting a stop out, moving on with your day. Dead money is just awful. But I've just been seeing these things resolved. And you can even go back to like some of these space names. Right? These were awful. Right. And they didn't put in nice bases, but at least they stopped going down for a period of time. And then if you bought them as they started to break out of these multi-year ranges, just amazing moves, right? You don't need to catch the bottom. It's not the ticket. It's just saying, let me. And the way it works, for people wondering why this works, is just this is value investors, right? I don't know what the hell the value of Owlet is,
and long-term trend line breaks, right? So combination, right? Now you get the technical with the fundamentals actually matching the technical move, right? When I talk about the combination of variables, now they're actually helping each other. Now they just need some story to change, right?
Yeah.
Get some type of good news, and then it springs.
Well,
right?
And it's funny, you can see down here, right? Miss earnings. And then when the base starts to resolve higher, they start to beat earnings and then actually flip into being a profitable company.
And that's all you need to see. Those are the types of things that write that one down, right? Like Michael's giving you literally insights here that you should be writing down, right? These are the types of ways that I tell you guys, you look for quick fundamental shifts or something that made it happen that now the company's viewed or valued differently. And that right there within itself can be the driving factor and a lot of these story changes. And you can get some of these companies on the cheap, right? You don't need to go crazy with the exposure, right? You're just trying to catch something that you can maybe make it go back to, let's say, like where Michael's at right there. It's not going to mean that he's going to take this to 40, but if it gets back to 20 or 30, I mean, that's a hell of a win.
Well, yeah, and the easiest, so the drawing I've done here, as I was showing people this, it's just simple technical analysis. You take the width of the base, you apply that to the breakout. That sets us around $21, right? It's at $8 right now.
That's good money to be made, right?
What else do you want? No, I don't think it's going to go to 200. It must have had to split at some point. I don't think it's going to $200. Yeah. If it can get from 8 to 20, I'm happy camper with the amount I've got in it. That's a bunch of money.
We're gonna have to do a little bit of a scan out there. I'll start scanning out there for old SPACs that are based out and things like that maybe we're slightly missing here. But really cool trades. What's up, Steve? What's going on, man? What are you seeing?
Well, I just have one that fits that criteria that I'm watching pretty closely here.
Yeah,
that is DraftKings.
DraftKings. Yes. You know what's funny, man? It's always a funny thing when we do things like this, Steve. So I gotta put my screen up to show it, but literally on Trader TV today, one of my trades that I was gonna bring up was good old DraftKings, man. Look right here. Look, dude. Right here. Look, these are my notes from this morning. DraftKings, NFL sports betting trade. Seasonal trade that goes into August, DKNG, high ascending triangle. There, let's go back to your trade. So I like the sauce. What's up with DKNG, man? How do you see it?
So it's really interesting. Well, first off, just classic kind of cup and handle looking pattern here. To me, it is pushing through this high volume profile here, kind of node on the chart on the left here.
Yeah.
And to me, it looks like it's ready to retest this node up here at 48 to 50-ish. So what's really interesting to me is how Coinbase has tracked along with DraftKings. Let me change this to make it a little easier to see. We'll do a line. So the purple line is Coinbase, and this, obviously the chart is DraftKings itself. But basically, since Coin IPO'd, they've basically tracked in alignment with each other until Coin broke out. So I don't know if there's a catalyst around the corner for DraftKings. I know that they're toying around with acquiring a what are those called, like Kalshi, or it's not Kalshi, but one of those predictions markets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can see them grabbing it, right? They got the money for it, and they love to spend money. That actually might hurt the stock price though at first. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
this is a seasonality trade, man. I don't know if you've seen this before. You go back on the chart. You can do this on the chart. You can kind of use seasonality places for this. But if you look back in time, there's a lot of times when this stock goes in August and September.
Yeah. While you've been talking, I actually brought this up. So one of our partners, right, TrendSpider, has a cool little seasonality widget right here where you can click on that, and that just shows these based off 2019, which is when it's IPO'd. These are kind of your best and worst months. So there's your August, June, July, August are usually pretty good. September, October, not too much, and then the beginning of the year so far. Now, it's only been around since 2019, but it's just a cool thing if you guys didn't know you can do. Also, another widget that I've been playing with them is analyst estimates. You can see it just lists all of the analyst estimates and then kind of the average price of those that are hanging out, where if you go and you look at those, they're all pretty much buy ratings.
Yeah, TrendSpider is really good. I'm just not the biggest fan of their actual charts, but they're really good, man. I think they just need some slight adjustments, but I love them.
I've been trying. That's why I still use this, but I've been trying to tweak their charts and to get it.
Do you feel like I do, Michael? There's just some slight awkwardness to the chart.
I don't even know what it is.
Understand
like I couldn't even give them feedback, but it's just the king is still these. But yeah, I've been playing with it more and more because you can do trading bots and you can do a lot of things, back testing, all kinds of cool stuff where right, you can do
it's pretty advanced. They've added a lot of stuff to it since it first started too. I know you're like me, you've seen it from the very beginning, and it's definitely made a big change. And features like that, the seasonality thing, telling you guys sometimes these plays can be just as simple as that. And if you've seen it work 8 out of 10 times, 80% win rate, why not try to play something that has an 80 to 90% win rate on seasonality? Something like that I like. DraftKings has a tendency of getting an NFL boost, right? The NFL is right around the corner. So the NFL gets people excited and they start placing bets for who's going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to get MVPs, all these types of things start creating hype. Then what ends up happening is there's sports that all come online near the same time. That's why this goes into a seasonal run into the end of the year.
Yeah, it's interesting to see too, especially with ones that have more data, right? Something like more Apple that's been around for a longer time, right? You can see again July, August. Then I like, the reason I have it up is I like looking at just the S&P 500. We know that most months you've got a over 50% chance that any month is higher, but you can start to go and take a look at each individual month, right? We're in July, there's a 64% chance we're higher. In August, there's a 63% chance we're higher, and then September it drops. So, I wouldn't ever just take a trade off of these, kind of like you were mentioning, but you take that, you combine it with some technicals, if you're seeing them line up, that's great. And then I think it's also a lot of information if you're not seeing them line up, right? If it's usually historically, say there's like an 80% chance that it's strong in this month and it's down, I think that's even more interesting information where it's not doing what it is supposed to, right? It might actually be a better trade than if it is what it is.
Yeah, it seems like we've had some good money, and we'll see if we break this ascending triangle and start going through it higher. I'd be looking at it to kind of get a little bit of a head start. It has a tendency of doing. I've traded this trade, so I can tell you guys at least I've seen the price action. It has a tendency of doing this first kind of a week, 2-week wave, then dying down a little bit in late August, kicking off in early September. Why? Opening game of the NFL is September 2nd. You see how that kind of aligns? So like hype first, by the rumor, it starts getting like literally into the training games. It starts going down a little bit. Right towards the actual opener, it takes off again. That's what I've seen the pattern. So we'll look for it, right? We'll see what happens. That's the pattern. Now it's time to see the psychology of this move. So what would I want to see? I'd want to see a breakout of this ascending triangle with high volume to show us that, hey, traders are trading the same thing that we're seeing. Let's go trade with them, right? This would be a trade with the herd kind of thing, right? You're trading with the herd on this one. I'm not the only one that trades this trade, and I think a lot of people are watching for it.
Oh yeah, simple momentum breaks like that I always love, because they're easy, not in the sense that they're going to make you billions of dollars or anything, but they're easy in the fact that if you get the break, you buy. If the break fails, you sell. You're not like refining different
No second
whatever.
guessing.
It's super easy, right? Above like $45 or $44.50, you own it. Below $44.50, you're out. It makes your life much easier than trying to like really nitpick pullbacks and things like that. Now, most momentum strategies will have a 50-50 win rate or a little bit worse, but it's fine. They'll make money in the long run. It's all that matters.
Yeah. There's a lot of earnings reports to go through. I don't know if we're going to go through all of those. We probably don't have the time to get through all those guys, but if there's anything you guys want to check out or specifically talk about, whether it be Michael, Steve here, or anybody in the chat, if you have a stock that may have earnings, you want to talk about it, go ahead and throw it up in the chat. Just want to make sure that if we at least get to the stocks that you guys want to see. Remember, you guys run the show. Like always, you guys listening in also on X, you can click on the stream and actually drop a comment. There's so many people that don't know how to drop a comment on Twitter. It's kind of amazing to me. But yeah, you could still do it, guys. You just got to click on the stream so that you can get to the comments area.
So the only kind of big warning I'll give is that we've got some big numbers coming out at, it says 11, but reminder, that's my time zone. So 10 Eastern. So if you're just know that, right, everything that happens in the first half hour could be completely undone in 1 second. So just be careful. Understand that that's the case. If you want to place your bets before that, kind of guess where the bots are going to take. The thing that I think that makes it even harder is that you've got the JOLTS employment numbers, and you've got a consumer confidence number. So two completely different things. So say one comes out really strong and one comes out really weak, you're going to have the robots fighting, and it's going to cause a whole bunch of chaos. So for me personally, I just could do the same thing every day. So the robot's going to take the trades as it happens. I am not, from the discretionary standpoint, I'm not really super jazzed to like get, really going right before that number. So it could be one of those where you just kind of sit and watch the first half hour and then, punch in whenever the numbers are finally out of our way and we can move on.
Appreciate you, Cliff, in the chat mentioning about seeing us all on Trader TV. Yeah, we rock and roll out there, guys. We try to represent, and like always, check us out. We're on different times, and it's always fun. I think it's really great that we go on at different times. They were even talking about Steve before I went on. So things like this, guys, I always say surround yourselves with great traders. The guys from Trader TV, also great traders, really like them. I know I kind of trade closer to Neil, but always find traders that kind of trade with your style, stick with them so you can learn from them, and you just might move forward. Tesla mentioned in the chat there. Of course, Tesla's been hot lately. I feel like this is now time to see a little bit of some pullback, as this has been really hot, but who knows if it's just going to keep flying towards the trend line. Talked about how we could close that gap. I feel like it just closed it yesterday, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned that we can pull back a little bit. Maybe inside day for Tesla today. What are you seeing?
Yeah, just right. We're in this wedge until when these patterns are forming. I don't think there's any predictive value for whether it's going to break out or down. I think you just have to wait for this wedge to kind of resolve one way or another. If you're bullish on it, to me, it looks overall bullish. If I had to bet, it would be the upside plus the markets. We're in a screaming bull market. But I'd need to see that resolve before I'd be too interested in it.
Yeah, I look also at the deeper time frame with Tesla. I like to look at the monthly chart a lot of the times. And if you look at the monthly chart, this action, and you just take away Elon's story in your mind, right? That's another thing. You got to take that almost away. But just look at the monthly chart. The monthly chart is just, if I'm a technical analyst, I'm saying that's bullish. Like that's straight up. Like, and sometimes you got to keep it simple. Monthly charts can really help that. So you get away from all that down action. You really start to see it a lot cleaner on the monthly.
I know we're getting close, but I do have something to tease here for you.
Ooh, Mitch. What you got? What you got?
Let's see, TSLA.
Dun,
See if
dun,
this loads.
All right, I will let you guys know I am short you here towards the open. I'll let you guys know if I get out.
So there is the strategy
The
in action,
strategy's
the
on.
green arrow. So it undercut the pre-market low right here
Let's
and then back
go.
through VWAP. So that would, in theory, once I've tested it a little more, trigger a buy directly into your broker. So I'm going to continue to play with it and tweak it over the next couple days, and then I'm going to give it to you. So,
all right, love to hear it, my friends. Let's have some fun. Let's go trading. If you guys see a trade you guys want to talk about, throw it up in the chat. Let's get after it. And of course, Steve, Michael, if you guys see trades, you can bring it up. And you guys in the chat, don't forget, we're here for you guys also. Starting off the day, I'm looking good here to start it off, guys. Man, it's one of those where I got to hang in. I talked about live trading challenge, hitting $1,000 trade. Can we do it? It's this trade right here, guys. I got to hold on, though. Got to hold on and see if I can get it. Look at the down action getting from it right now. So there's down, down, down. I'll put the chart up to show you guys that trade. You guys can see here in the left, I'm up about 170 already. Looking for this to drop through the 10 here. Let's see if this can really drop. Yesterday, it was kind of fading, kept fading, and then kept running into kind of this kind of support zone right into like right below the $10. So looking to see if we can get back on the daily chart, back to the 90 EMA. That's 940s, 950s. Maybe even a move to $9 today. Let's see what happens with this one. Up about 124, and we'll see if I'm able to cash a little bit more. On this one, I will be break even. I'm just trying to really give it a chance to go, and then we'll see if we can get that to keep going down. All right, coming back to you guys. What are you guys seeing out the gates here?
I'm keeping an eye on Riley, RILY. They are a regional banking name. They are.
What's that resolution, man?
What's that?
Span that out.
The window.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were looking at my charts here.
Yeah, so, really cute, man.
Here we go.
You like your colors.
There's a lot going on. We can take this off. Keep it simple here. We have a big
I don't mind it being as complex as you want it to be, Steve. At the end of the day, they're your charts, man.
We'll keep it nice and simple. We've got a big point of control, a big juicy base here. Looks to me like we are consolidating and looking to break above it. If we were talking biotech in terms of rate sensitive environments, how about regional banking, right? Another one where it really matters. So I think that these are baskets where you could see potential big movers. This one has a big gap overhead and is starting to try to push. So keeping an eye on here at $6 even. And yeah, it's a fun name. When it gets moving, it really moves. So keep this one on your watch list.
Let's go. Let's go. The market starting off not too bad out the gates here. I'm seeing a lot of sectors in the green. Let's keep moving. Let's see what we can get up here. Energy and technology leading the up action out the gates. Real estate, utilities behind that. In the red, healthcare and basic materials out the gates here.
Alaskan Air Group is ripping. ALK.
All right.
All things.
Yeah. Let's look for maybe a little love to get some love.
This is a nice looking daily chart here. We just look at this zone right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches of this line. So if we can get a nice break here, again, I hate the industry. It's just, airlines are.
Okay, the UAL might be the leader to kind of take the airlines with you. So I would try to look through there. I
always love the joke. If you want to be a millionaire, start out as a billionaire, invest in airlines. So
there you go.
You know, but if they're gonna break these little bases,
I don't even understand it, man. Why can't they make money, man? They charge a lot of money, dude.
Just think of the capital overhead, right? You're burning fuel. You got these giant jets you got to buy. You got to rent the airport space. You got it's just
it's impressive that
Well, I know Air Canada, I don't even know if it's listed now. It's gone bankrupt like 7-8 times, and then the government just has to bail it out because we need an airline as a country. You just need to have one.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at if you go back to the monthly chart.
Get the bailout.
You have to have someone, right? You got to fly somewhere.
Got to, my friend. All right, leading the market on my watch list, I see SoFi, of course, and that was ripping higher. Had good earnings, continuing the day. We'll see if that can push. Seeing some ION Q, some ION names. I saw that there was a bank note. I think it was Raymond James. It might have been on the quantum names. I might have to fact check myself on that one. I know it was, there was some kind of note out on quantum stocks this morning. So they look like they're getting a good lift, led by Rigetti trying to break 16. We'll see if that one works out.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
far,
such a
no. I'm testing your setup, Mitch. I've got a $10 risk,
I like
just
it.
to
I
see if
like
the
it.
trades come through, and if it starts to work, you're gonna start shouting names at me. I'm gonna add it, and we'll set up a whole account to test it with. And if it works, you're gonna be a robot. So like this Rigetti got me thinking, right? It's did this undercut of the pre-market high, or an overcut of yesterday's high, and now it's selling down pretty good. So it'd be interesting to see if we're going to get some sort of trigger in that. And again, we'll refine which ones we're looking at later. I just want to see the trade come through.
ETHU trying to break through the high. That thing's been on an attempted breakout there on the move. I even tried to short this yesterday. So I'm looking at it right now. I'm mainly looking at it on more of a day trade with SBET to the upside. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Boom. All right, so it worked.
Look at the strategy on SBET. So undercut near 20, trying to recover.
All right,
but this one would be on a declining line, right? So,
well, it will do long and short. So, right, you need to.
We'll see how this one is.
Just figure out. Let me get. I'm gonna switch over to your screen for a second because I'm gonna load up.
Bring me over, guys. CCJ mentioned in the chat there. GW CCJ tonight earnings. We'll see if it can keep going. It's definitely really toppy right there at the 80s, but maybe it can get through that.
Yeah, I think maybe long-term overextended in the sector, but I still think these names are going a lot higher. So I think it's going to be a game of figuring out how they get there, you know? I'm keeping an eye on Baba here. It's basing out pretty nicely today. This name could really explode. The whole sector, I think, is looking really strong. Keeping a close eye there.
All right. I'll put you up for just a second to at least talk about that trade. I took the long there in SBET, guys, off the VWAP, looking for this to get right back up above VWAP.
All right. On Baba here.
I really like China too, man. That guy Steve, man, he had my notes this morning.
So I was just working on this chart. So it's very messy and very not presentable yet. The important things to note, you know, I'm actually going to go to the
SBET
9988 chart. It's a lot clearer, I think. I've noticed that about Chinese stocks. Sometimes it's easier to read the price action on the actual Hang Seng ticker. So anyways, the daily candles here, they're starting to base out really nicely. We're basically in this box attempting to break out right up into this gap here and really start the major move. On the weekly, these charts have so much room. So very, very pretty pennant breaks here that I want to keep an eye on with potential trade extensions. Yeah, I think that's happening. If not today, then this week for sure. So potential catalyst there. Good charts.
Software name I'm looking at, Rubriks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Nice wedge break there. That's a clean chart.
Yeah, I like if it could pull back here to the 91s, put some pressures on the buyers that just got on 91. So maybe it goes to like 90, 80, but it might just take off to the 92 here. We'll see what happens there. It's already pushing on that 92, but this is the name that momentum traders are watching. Just did a trend line break after kind of a basing pattern off of a pullback, right? So interesting look there. And the funny part, 1, 2, 3, 4 waves. It's higher.
All right, SPY is looking to take out its cash session high of day. Getting pretty close to there, edging on the top wick from the morning candle.
We have a success. So I got this up here. So here's Rigetti. And again, the idea was, again, we'll refine which ones we pick, is that you want to break the pre-market high first and then a short back through VWAP. And I just had to take a screenshot because I couldn't get this up on the Mac, but entered the order automatically, put the stop at the high of the day for now, just a simple high of day stop. $10 risk while we're testing, and then I have it as a 3-to-1 target right off the bat. But I figure targets will probably be something that might be good to kind of manually do, is just take a look at it and say, hey, if this, you can move the take profit around very easily and trade the pool. But that one, and then I just put UUU on, and that triggered as well. And the idea is, right, undercut of the pre-market low, come back through VWAP, you take your shot there. So again, super interesting that it was able to work that quickly. So it means we're kind of hammering these out pretty quick now.
Let's go.
You come up with a strategy, automate it as much as you can, and away you go.
Bull
Absolutely,
heading
that's
down
awesome.
today. That's looks like a
Oh.
little bit of a pullback that's starting to break there.
Getting a little bit of curl up on Baba as well. Keeping an eye, hoping we can get some push off out of that base at 122.50. Looking for a break of 124, and this thing can explode to 127 to 130 ish very quick. So
All right,
keeping a
it's time
close eye
to
here.
step up to the plate, try to make that $1,000. What do you guys say?
Ooh.
So what I'm going to do here is you see this U, right? So now we're looking like we want to break the support. So now's the time. If I want to hammer, it'd be time to hammer now. So you can see here on the 15-minute, right? We've tried to break down this support, could come back towards the 10. But what I'm looking for is a rejection of like 993s and a real breakdown through the 980s. So on this bounce, I'm looking for the 90 EMA to reject, and then I can add on to the trade on a support break. So like 986, I'm going to go with an add at 986 and then look for this to really start making the move down. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to go with let's go with a 400 share add there. And then that will get us to 1,000 shares. And yeah, we'll be definitely pushing on trying to get this through. So let's see what happens here, guys. I think I only got 350 that I can add. So I'll do 350. Stop ad 986. We'll see if we get there.
Slow grind up in the market. Just wanting to make sure everyone, I'm going to remind people periodically. 20 minutes till giant market craziness, like 2 reports that come out that are a pretty decent big deal. So, just pay attention. I don't, again, everything that's happening before then, I'm not super jazzed about.
Healthcare plans doing well today. UNH was on the radar for a lot of eyes. So you're seeing some bounce back in that area. I don't think it's UNH specifically that's leading. Well, it's up about 1.3, but ELV with a nice little move higher. This one's already been destroyed. So maybe it's just finally enough, but definitely seeing them get hard.
Finally, I saw online a leveraged United Healthcare ETF that went live. I think I saw that on my buddy. Let me see if I can find the ticker. I found that it was on my buddy Evans. Finally launched.
AMD. Who talked about AMD? Look, we're in the box, boys. We're in the box.
Let's go.
In the box. I drew this on June 25th. It only took a month to make a 40% move.
Easy money. Man, that's the best feeling, seeing
long-term trend lines, man.
Yeah.
Note on that, guys. Long-term trend lines.
UNHG. There we go. That's the ticker. $13 stock, 2 times leverage UNH. This could be one to add to the bucket as a trading vehicle, right? So I'm interested for sure in this one.
A little heavy there. Looks like it's gonna dip into supply zone, see if it can hold. I would like to see 637.25 to 50 hold.
I'm telling you, there was some protection bought yesterday in the VIX. It just didn't hold up. So we'll see what happens. I still think they could bring it down early part of the week and then bring it back with the big boys. But that's just the way I feel. So I'm still continuing to see that. I could see a little bit of that when the VXX, the volume increase that's starting to happen, right? So you're seeing people take protection. That's
what it makes sense with the massive number that's going to come out in 15 minutes. We see this pretty much every time is you get a increased volatility into the number because this number, right? Again, jolts, job, whatever will move the market. We don't know which way, but it will move. And a lot of people are just like, I want to buy a little bit of protection going into that just to see. Yeah. Jeez, did someone hear us talk about Owlet this morning? I just looked down, just ripped. Like this thing doesn't do any volume, so it's not a short-term trader, but just popped.
Yeah, nice little 30,000. Someone said, "Hold on, Money Mitch, Michael Noss, like one play. What's going on?"
Well,
we'll see.
I've got a lot, guys. So whoever's doing it, keep going. I own a fair amount of this, so I will not be upset if you just want to rip this thing to the moon. That will not upset me. So I'm actually going to try the setup. Oop, I just deleted Mitch from the stage. There we go. Like,
That's the setup, guys.
Get out of your own
That's the
show.
setup, guys. That's the setup right there.
Right? We talked. This is what we're talking about. What I'm trying to build here is that I'm going to take this maybe with a little bit bigger size and $10 for testing. Try like 50 or $100 risk, but right. UNH. This is the double leverage, but UNH undercut of this kind of pre-market support. Ripping back through, I'm looking at the kind of indicator we built down here and just looking for a break back through VWAP. So again, the stop will go at the low of the day. It will throw at a target at 3 times that risk. And then what I figure, just knowing Mitch, is he's going to want to have his hands in there somewhere. And it would be nice to have a job in which you just make your lists in the morning. You sit back, you wait for the triggers to happen, and then you just manage the trades that way. You basically outsourced the entire trade process except the trade management part. And then just over time, you start to realize where these things go to. And then, maybe you systematize it after that. But so, yeah, I've got that loaded up now. And again, the beauty of doing it this way with the bot is what I want to be able to do is I'll set up a process for Mitch in which he can just add and remove symbols. As if you see something, you just add it, you move on. And then we won't hear Mitch complain anymore that he was looking at it correctly and then couldn't take the trade because
if anything, there's going to be a bunch of trades happening soon.
Yeah, there'll be and again, you guys know me. I think over trading is for discretionary people. It's not for systematic people. Systematic people want to overtrade.
Oh yeah. All right. This Rubriks is looking interesting. It's trying to develop here. Just thinking if we're going to have an overall software type of day, but the setup's there. You can see it, right? I mean, it's developing right there. So we'll see what happens on this Rubriks if it wants to actually make the move. I'd call this kind of more of your symmetrical triangle because you can draw this bottom part. Maybe you're calling it a pendant into this move. Let's see if it undercuts here slightly at 91 and then really goes higher. Only thing with this one, the spread's a little bit wide, about 20 cents, sometimes 22 cents there. But let's see if it can get going. Of course, it can move. Like that move up there is 93. So you're talking about a 2% move higher. We'll see what happens. Nice little setup there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice tight base. Just watching nothing has come through the bot yet. Other than
she's hot, man.
The Rigetti experiment has made me a grand total of $6. So
triggered on and you.
Dollar menu on me on this one.
Hey, it's all good. Dollar menu can get you. Well, it used to get you a meal.
I don't even know what it is now. It's probably like, here's 2 French fries. Now get it.
You know what the worst part is? We can actually be like when I was growing up, there would always be those stories of like back in my day. It used to be like, well, dude, the prices have been changed in 10 years. So I don't know how that really worked out. But now I can actually say that without a conference. I can look at my kids and be like, back in my day.
I think the quote will be, right, the dollar store actually meant that the things inside the dollar store cost $1. And now they're like,
they're gonna be like,
crazy.
What? You used to get things for $1?
I know. It's like we don't even have the penny anymore. We got rid of it. We said this thing is so useless. Let's just take it out of circulation entirely. Everything just gets rounded to the nearest 5 cents. Just all right, guys, there's a fun Canadian story for everyone.
Let's see if the UUU can keep going here. We did just the same, so don't worry. Trump saw that copper was expensive. He said, let's stop making pennies.
Yeah, so Rigetti would have worked great. Again, I'll bring up the indicator that we're building here in front of everybody, which I think is super cool. I just go to this one.
Nice one spy. Right to the
trigger. There's your weakness coming in. VIX shooting here, guys. I'm going for the VIX here.
There's your short on Rigetti. Again, this purple line just represents the pre-market high, and I just kind of said after 8:30 just to cut out all the junk that happens in the really early pre-market.
Hard.
Spike up.
Hard.
Look at the SPY here. Yeah, that's fallen as well. But again, just like I was saying, I don't trust any of these moves because we've got big numbers on their way and they're coming in 10 minutes. So basically, I'm just
ETH
looking
coming
at
down fast.
everything that happens before these 10-minute numbers. I'm just not really super interested in. One, I always look an hourly. Yeah, so some sideways chop here.
Adding to the VIX.
Hasn't moved. This to me is overall bullish action on Ethereum, though. The fact that we ran up to this huge level and we're chopping, right? I expected us to pull back to, maybe 3,500 or something like that, but we're just moving sideways and just chopping back and forth here. So we need more of this, I think, and then maybe we get through 420. Then for 420 is like what, 5,000 is the ultimate target. Same with Solana, right? Solana's got to work its way back up to this prior high at 250.
All right, guys, in 400 shares, VXX looking for this to continue spiking. It is spiking now up to 40.86 here. So really just going to look for this to kind of keep running here. Willing to go break even if I need to. It's trying to feel some pullback right now. We'll see if it can keep going. That's VIX, VXX. Also watching a lot of these momentum names. I didn't even get a chance to really expand too much about it, but I thought momentum names really broke yesterday, and it was an ugly day for a lot of stocks. So watch out there, guys. I think that you really got to stick with where the strength is right now. Some stocks that were really hot 2 weeks ago are not hot anymore. So just be careful with those types of names that really started to show some weakness. And that's what the thing is. You can't fall in love with these names, right? Some of them are going to fall out of favor. And if you stay with it, you're going to pay the price. I've seen it countless times, guys.
All right. Hourly trigger on SPY is holding for now. That's basically the low of day there. It's actually where the initial impulse candle went down to. So 637.34.
Okay.
So for me, it should be a buy as long as that holds. All
right, we'll see if it holds here.
8 minutes until, in my opinion, none of this really matters too much, right? Yeah. If numbers come in perfectly in line, then you're going to get. Remember, it's what do we say? The 8th knee-jerk reaction. That's the one that will actually matter. So 8 minutes until that takes place, and then we see kind of what actually is going to happen in the market today. I'll say it. I feel like I say it every day. People turn off their bots, turn off their algos until whatever huge number is taking place gets cleared, and then they'll get active again after that. So I think this is a lot of retail driven shenanigans, and then we'll see from there.
Talk saying he's short on Tesla and short on coin. Tesla coming down today, getting that pullback day, right? I feel like it's going to be an inside day, though. I don't know if it'll break the low from yesterday, but right now, you're perfectly inside of it. You're, if anything, retracing a lot of yesterday's action. Here comes the break, guys. We are looking good in UUU. If the market could come down here, we're looking. This is that trade, guys. Look at it. I'm sticking with it. It's looking great here. We'll see if they can continue to move, but UUU starting to break down, really looking like a reversal on the daily. So I'm holding in here, looking for the breakdown through the support. If it can get through these 80s, we can really start to break towards lower 9s. Let's see what happens here. Can also cut out, also up around 163. So it's not like I need to hold on to this. I'm just looking for the swing to continue moving. What's going to help me? If the SPY can really kind of continue on the downside break here. I don't even want to see it back by VWAP here. Just want to see it go down to that low. And if anything, that number crushed the market there. That will cause more VIX spikes. And all those guys that got VIX protection, they're going to be happy. And then the key is if they hold it to the end of the week, I don't think that will be as happy. It'll be one of those where the premium might evaporate by the end of the week.
Yeah, well, you got to remember it's
good call out on Apple.
Apple.
Whoa, Alex.
What has happened there?
Whoa.
That could be a China deal disaster, or like maybe some negative China talk.
The street here.
I don't say that.
That could be a negative China talk there, because that reaction doesn't look good. I'm just saying from the chart, not saying that I have factual news.
I'm just not seeing nothing from our boy Walter, at least yet. Okay. So,
well, the VIX pulled back there. I cut out break even there. I set myself up just in case it launched and then get out, break even there, right? It was a scalp look, get out. Now look for this, what happens on this number here, right? 5 minutes. Watch out.
Yeah. And again, I think this number is Apple earnings Thursday, which makes it more unusual, I think, that it's moving, right? Because generally speaking, you get slow grinds sometimes into earnings reports, but generally not huge moves, because the big guys don't want to take large bets into a binary event. They usually wait till after that binary event. If anything, the big guys are selling options and premium and everything into earnings, and then kind of collecting the 9 times out of 10 where the people who bought options and earning have a bad time. So it's interesting.
Already spiking ahead of the number. I can't buy this one. Now that one's a little bit harder to buy now. I mean, you could go with a little scalp look if you'd like it, but you can see it right there, guys. VIX definitely getting the spike.
That makes me more bullish. The more I see, the VIX spiking into this number, the more people get nervous, the more I think we just rip. But no way of knowing. It's just
I always think that the Max Payne trade here, Max Payne trade, I don't think is on the short side of things. I think it's on the long side of things. But that's just the way I feel. I always think that the market likes to hurt the most. So that's just the way I look at it.
Remember, the big guys are short, right? They're still short.
Yeah, that could be it.
The contrarian trade is to the long side here. The consensus
APLD
trade is
breaking down, HIMS breaking down. It just seems, my thing is more the momentum stocks breaking down. So at least the growth trade doesn't look as hot. Everyone was banging TEM's chart this weekend. Look at the action that it's had, right? It is not the same market, at least for those types of charts. I've even seen some of the trend traders are saying, watch out, setups aren't looking as pretty out there as they were. These are times where I think you got to be a little weary with big weeks like we're having right now. What do you guys see? Up 300 now on that UUU. I'm trying, guys.
Look at that candle.
Oh, but somebody just put in tons of volume there on UUU, and tons of volume came in around the market there.
Yeah, that was big on
lots of volume coming in there. Something happened there, guys. Big volume there coming in. And it came in on different charts. I'm sure you guys saw different charts start showing tons of volume flow.
Right back to VWAP and just stopped on a dime. This again, this just feels like just all games into
into the number, right? And so what does this leave? It leaves you in the Max Payne right now, because on the day, who's winning? Nobody. The Bulls and Bears. It's like we're almost right back to unchanged at the open here. So let's see what happens here, guys. Funny they do it 2 minutes right before the number, right? So
games, they know it's easier to push the market around now because they know the big guys have the robots turned off. If you have a market making bot right now, it's not turned on 2 minutes before a huge number. So they know they can mess with the retail guys. They can dip it, they can rip it, they can play all these games that in 2 minutes they won't be able to play as much because now they're playing
right before 10. Watch for the spreads to widen, right? Watch for the spreads to widen. Be careful with that, right? It can actually pick you off if you're too tight, because the spread will widen, take you, and then the stock actually move, right? So just to put that out there, just be careful with spreads widening into that number.
Yeah, so
especially with penny stocks, I've seen that happen a lot. Just for those penny stock traders, like you're in a nice trade and all of a sudden the market's going through the situation, the spread widens out, and all of a sudden you get washed. So just to keep that in mind, it's like a thing to look for, right?
Yeah, it's like clockwork. As we talk about some things that are just human and they're going to be there forever, and it's VIX rising into numbers. Its volatility, generally speaking, is overpriced. It's like 85% of the time volatility is overpriced going into large macro events. These things are just, people are scared and they're going to buy insurance. They should, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It means that most times you're going to have a good time selling volatility, selling liquidity, and you're going to be able to play games before numbers come out, because retail people are going to get stopped out on both sides.
All right, we'll see what happens here as it comes in here, guys. Expecting here numbers to come on in. We'll see what happens and how the reaction comes. Let's get to it. course,
Right, well.
10 a.m. expectations are what's important here. I'm trying to grab them for you, but it's coming in. It's already coming in here. We'll see how it actually reacts here with the number.
Is it nothing? Did I just hype it up for nothing? Are we not moving at all,
We're
or
not
is it
moving
late?
at all on it. It's
What's going on?
the algos are distinguishing what the heck they want to do right now. So let's see it. There was a lot of volume before this. Now there's a pause. Let's see what happens here. I'm still
Weaker
watching
than
the VIX.
expected. I expected less job openings than expected, so I guess that's stronger than expected.
So what was it again, Michael? Repeat.
They expected 7.55 million job openings, and there were 7.43 million job openings.
Okay,
So
shows that
pretty much
unemployment going up higher. Of course, this is a horrible number to follow, but shows unemployment going higher, which could be a negative thing for the market, but the market's not really reacting fast to it. So what I would be doing here is just looking at longer term charts instead of the 1 minute chart, right? So the 15-minute has support right here. Let's see if it rejects support and breaks like 638 here, or do we start to climb back towards like 639? If we start to go to 639, we shake all this morning news. If not, right there, you're seeing it, a rejection of 638 on the SPY. That makes me more negative for the day, at least to start, but we still need to break that wick candle. Is it a trick? We'll find out soon, right?
I feel like let down. Like, you ever go to a movie and you're like really hyped for the movie and then nothing happens? That's what I feel like right now. It's like, man, I don't know if this is one of those. Was the number? Did they know the number right here during that volume spike? Is that what that was? And
someone might have had it. I don't believe that numbers aren't given out anymore, man. That's just the way that I feel. But
Michael's just daring the market to dump now. It's scary.
Crime is legal, man. Out there.
Go ahead. Dump.
Do it.
I'll buy more. I'd love a nice 5-10% correction.
I would too, because that might get the UUU $1,000 challenge that I set to myself today.
Bitcoin really selling off, Tack. I think that might be a bit dramatic there. What are we down? We're down 0.5%.
I think ETHU was a nice short today, guys. I thought ETHU was set up for a really nice short today because it's right on the resistance. Looks like it's going to break out, but this isn't a good pattern. It never came back to the 9. It never got a chance to really reload. So in my eyes, this is a trap right here off 126.
I can see that. I was waiting for that 9-day touch.
Yeah, exactly. Give me some accumulation time. It didn't really give you that, and it just gapped higher. Yesterday, I was trying to short this. Didn't really work out, but right now, it's looking like it's about to just start breaking down here. And another thing that's happened, at least from what I've seen, like these trades have done really bad, right? These kind of Ethereum names, right? They're starting to really kind of start breaking back down. That tells you something. The hype is starting to die out. Now up 300, guys. Let's go. Not 3 U's, 4 U's.
It's a lot of U's.
That's a lot of U, bro.
So Apple is looking constructive here. I'm keeping an eye on that one just because it was leading the way down.
Okay, that's a good look.
Not so constructive, though.
Good mention, my friend. Okay, so now we're getting that third kind of bottoming on the VXX here. This is where I can take my shot back into VXX. Remember, I got out break even. I'm going to go back into the VXX here and hold off of a 10-cent like risk, 12 cents because I on the offer there. So I'm just going to go really small. We'll go 10-cent risk here, 400 shares. Look to see if it just cents. So that would be the SPY really kind of crumbling here. Let's see what happens with the VXX and the UUU. The UUU. It's doing good, man. I'm trying to be calm about it, guys. You know what I mean? Trying to be calm about it. It's up 300. For this account, I should probably take this money, but it's a challenge. Let's go for it.
That's the spirit.
Let's go for it. It's the challenge. Let's go for it. VXX getting a little spike there. Let's see what happens to the SPY. This wick needs to be taken out on the downside action for me to feel I really got it timed right. So wouldn't want to see it even back through that big candle where we saw the volume. So sometimes when you see volume, Look at that candle. This area is very important right now. Right? This is where it came in.
Mhm.
Right? This is where that spike all of a sudden came in. You can see the volume right there. So I really watch that candle. What do? This is a whole bunch of nothing until we break close below it or close above it. And if the SPY leaks out, we're going to get close to that $1,000.
Yeah, just a whole lot of nothing. a
Whole lot of nothing.
A whole lot of disappointment so far today. You know, I expected this chop, but then I expected some amount of movement after the chop, and just didn't get that at all.
Is it time for a little bitty? A little bitty?
Could be, yeah.
A time. Oh, that
Let's watch that initial volume candle that we talked about. If it can pop the top of that,
dude, bitty looks like a swing to me. Yeah, for the 1780s here, I don't mind it at all. Let's go for it. Let's try it. Bitty. Long on the bitty, man.
Took a little. This finally triggered this UNHG. You see moving there
here with the SPY.
Nice push up on this name. Again, this is what we're looking for, is a cut down of the pre-market low and then a push back through. You can see little green arrows that were lit up there. Those are the potential buys. Again, stop the low of the day. Targeting for now just kind of like a 1.5 R. Might just try, see what that looks like over time. Make it simple, right? I know the math will work out if you get a even close to a 50-50 win rate over time on a 1.5 R, you're a happy camper.
SPY looking like it's gonna drop. I'm just on that short side, so the bear in me is coming out. Let's go. Michael's like, bear, let's go get those bears.
Yeah,
what? I don't know how to feel.
Well, at some point, if
you said the market's pickpocketing right now. Yeah, it is. I'm with you on that one, Vic. That thing is running into people on the subway right now.
Six higher lows, right? So it certainly wouldn't shock me if we finally get a down day at some point. I know yesterday was technically a down day, but we still couldn't break the low of the day before it. Kind of reminds me of what happened right here, where these slow grinds occur. And the cool thing is, you can just go back and see that this is the story of Trump term 1.0. A lot of people forget. We had the same thing. So this is 2019. This is where we had trade wars and fights with Powell and interest rates. Any of that ring a bell? And then we had this. Right?
Trump forgot that he appointed Trump.
Yeah, I know, which is hilarious.
He forgot he appointed him. He was like, who appointed this guy? Dude.
That was me.
Oh, me? Oh, crap. But yeah, it's like the same thing.
Like in the background.
You had this giant volatility action in 2019. I remember because it happened right around Christmas, and it made for a rough Christmas when the market's just falling apart as he's bullying the Fed chair on Twitter. Remind anyone of anything. And then when that was resolved, you had like 3 months of less than a 1% move on the SPY, just grinding higher every single day. You want something that crushes the bears. It's not a huge spike higher that crushes bears. It is this kind of just slow, continuous grind. So this 2020, but here's the 2019. Like, just look at this price action right here. You want to kill a bear, you do this, where it just grinds slowly higher just for days and weeks and months. And that's what happened. And it kind of reminds me of this. This looks like 2019, and now this kind of looks like the grind that we get after the market gets desensitized to them. Nothing new under the sun. Just go study history.
All right, we'll see if we actually get a takeoff here. I'm tightening down on my VIX trade there, only a $20 risk here, and I like that because I think this is the perfect time to take a $20 risk on the market to the downside. So we'll see what happens here. UUU up almost $400, guys. I think I might just have to cash. I got to remember that on this account, I can't really get it over the 650. So I'll have to just cash it, and then we'll see if it gets towards that $1,000 mark. What I'll probably do is I'll take the money and try to reload into the position. This is one of the things that I've been doing a little bit more of. Take some cash, then use it to kind of play with, right? So
trade around a core.
Yeah, especially because of what I have, right? I have a limitation on the upside, right? So I can't go too crazy. But making money here, guys. SPY kind of bouncing a little bit there. We'll see if it can continue to bounce or not. It went right off that square. Remember, I drew the square. We're just playing on that square. I literally drew the square. We're playing in the square. So you know what I mean? Like right now, you just got to wait to see what happens here with this box, right? You got a wick there, but you still haven't broken above it or below it.
Yeah, nothing here on the market. Just complete.
SoFi interesting, right? On that pullback. It was about 3 minutes ago, but VWAP pullback. If you guys like that name.
I mean, I liked it at 16 and I missed it.
Yeah, dude, we talked about it, man. I even got a friend in right around that 16, man. He's holding in.
Nice.
So at least we put it on. We talked about it, I think, really right here, June 25th, when it started to come up here, right here on this day, right before the break, right? That's what we like to do too. Like, I think Steve and I do great with that. We're looking at these charts. We try to put it on the radar. We can't always catch them all, but we can definitely put them on the radar.
Man, what a candle today. Just talk about continuation. Just that there's your narrative shift, right? I mean, everybody was saying, oh, it's too high, it's too high, it's too high. And it gaps up after a 25% move.
And what have you seen? Wrong. They started to readjust their business. They started to talk more about crypto. They started to jump on the fact that student loans are going to be as prominent in the federal space. They're going to be more private. That gave this company some more tailwinds. So when tailwinds, those types of things change the fundamentals with the technicals looking good. Those are your high conviction trades. Those are the ones that you can maybe go trading less and trade higher conviction, like more size into it. I think this is a perfect type of trade on that. Now it's hard to get it though, right? That's the hard part of these. If you don't get into them early, it's really hard to jump on these. You got to like ride the 90 MA and hope that you can get this kind of push off of the 90 MA. SPY here is just still hanging in there, guys. It's one of those days where I think it's going to wait the first hour of the day and then determine what it wants to do after those first day traders are done with their day. So just stick around, guys, because I have a feeling we're going to be chopping at least maybe even the next 15 minutes. And then finally towards like after 10:30, really cause a direction. This is why I always said that, man, and I need to try this more often. I've always thought about it. It's just literally trading from 10:30 on only. At least for me, that has a tendency of working better. Why? Because after that, I actually have levels, better ways to control my risk.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I find myself trading a lot better if I wait half hour to an hour into the market for sure.
Yeah, I just see it. I see it in the stats, right? And I take some trades in the beginning, but what I've learned is that maybe just tighten down on the risk at the beginning, and maybe it's like a half risk or a fourth of the risk that I'd normally take at like a 10:30, because there I can have more conviction that I have levels that I can draw off of. All right, chat kind of quiet. That tells me a lot, guys. That tells me that you guys are just like us, looking and looking, waiting and waiting to see what happens here.
Well, right? Yeah. You look at that SPY chart, that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't really be swinging for the fences. I don't even see any real, like I'm going on stock twits here just to see what the big talked about symbols are. And it's UNH, SoFi, Boeing, Nova Nordis, PayPal. Like none of these things are, there's none of these insane ones. The crazy, no one's doing like a fart coin treasury this morning or anything. So,
oh man,
Apple's pushing nicely.
When you get in that fart coin plate, that's all I need to know. When are you getting the fart coin plate?
420. We're at a buck 10
420.
now.
It has
so
to. We're almost there.
Needs to 4x. It's
All
had a
right,
little
all right.
pullback last couple days. It got as high as
All right.
150. Now we're down to 110.
I'm waiting for it. I want to see it.
I'll do it. I'll go get it. I don't know. Well, if the government will let me get a vanity plate, this is Farcoin, but we'll
Trust
see.
me, we'll figure it out. And then we really need to get you an outside speaker with like that really classic whoopee cushion fart.
There you go.
And then you just pull up to the red light, and while everyone's reading your plate, you know they're reading your plate. You just give them a good old put a smoke gun on that thing to smoke out the car behind you.
Come on,
Your
Walter
emission
Bloomberg.
controls might not like that in Canada, but
Wake up, Walter.
come on, Spy. Spy's trying to go back to the top end of that box. You see how it plays with you, right? Well, it's trying to go back to the top end of that box. Let's expand the box. Let's see when the hell it breaks this box.
So it's trying to pop that VWAP, but it needs to get over that high volume candle we mentioned.
Yeah, that's why it's important to know that candle is important, right? Because essentially it engulfed the action to the left. So you kind of get a new trend, right? And you can focus on this trend right now as being kind of the trend, right? If it gets hit through that, who knows? It could have been a big short and causing a little bit of some price spike there. We really don't know right now. I think we just watch and see.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, honestly, it's looking heavy still, but there's just no trade, you know? It's pinned between short-term moving averages and VWAP, and it's got
any names
kind of midterm support right at like the lows of the day. So I want to be bullish, but I need to reclaim short-term moving averages and that high volume candle for me to like actually entertain getting long.
Looking around at some little small ones here, just flowing through them. STAI, probably one of the best looking charts there. This SLRX, I know you mentioned some biotechs this morning. Doesn't look too bad, but nothing really standing out to me in the penny stock game today. This CASK doesn't look like the worst on the daily chart. Just because I see that kind of action. So that's really not bad when you got 40 million and now you got very light trading, but it's not breaking through the bottom. So I'd look at this one maybe being a potential $1 runner. You can look on the hourly right here, and it seems like it wants to get back up there. For a real penny stock trade, it's an interesting one. There's the VIX starting to push there, guys. I'm going back in. I got a $20 out last time. I'm going right back with my $20 here. Taking $20 shots. I can take a ton of these. So you guys saw my alert go off right on the screen. That's what I'm here for also. Let you guys know when my alerts go on so that I can show you guys that there you guys have it. Now the VIX starting to move a little bit. SPY starting to move down. Let's see if it breaks the box. The box. Will it get broken? 1, 2, 3. The fourth time's the charm. If it doesn't break here, I'll be probably getting out of my VIX and looking for longs. That's just my rules. So let's see what happens here. And we'll see what happens, right? So now on this fourth time, we should see volume increase into the breakdown if it's going to be a bigger breakdown. That's what I'll be looking for.
It's trying to hold this volume profile, but it looks weak.
And just nothing. Right? Nothing is happening. And I'm looking like at everything. All the different XOP is moving a little bit, hitting highs there. That's something. So semiconductors continues, right? 1.5% up on semiconductors. Hack is up 1%. We have bonds actually ripping, bonds hitting new highs here. So that means interest rates coming down a little bit if bonds are ripping, which is probably why we have IWM doing well, trying to bounce here. Interesting chart here on IWM. The 2-day VWAP right here. You can see all the levels that it put under that 2-day VWAP. We'll see if it gets back up through the VWAP there. That might be another little shot to take there and just risk that VWAP and see if we get a grind higher. Just because of TLT, look at this ripping here. Remember, there's is it TMX? I think that is the 3x,
the 20-year. Yeah,
3x 20-year. I think it's 3x.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misheard you. Gotcha.
TMX, yeah. No, PNX. Well, that's the
All right.
TMF, I
SPY
think.
bouncing
Yeah,
a little bit there,
TMF and
guys.
TMV are the leveraged ETFs.
Yeah, there you go. So if you don't want to trade bonds, which I don't blame you, they're boring as hell, you can trade triple leverage bonds.
Yeah, put some pep in your step there. So Apple's trying to form a higher low. I'm keeping an eye on that there.
Walter did tweet something about Apple. They're launching a foldable phone. That will be a phone and an iPad in 2026.
Yeah,
it's
that
the
was
only
already
news
known.
I know. That's the only. I don't know what
known.
caused this sell and bounce because I've been looking for news and that's it,
guys. Right now the VIX did tickle down there. I'm just like battling with you, right? Like at this point, like I got a really good amount already on this trade. So we got to just continue to watch it here, see what happens. But the swing's been good, right? So the swing was a trend change. We're getting it. We're going back towards resistance, 945, 940s. Next move would get me that close to $600. So not a bad trade at all.
Nice.
SPY still hanging in that box, guys. We're still in that box. We got to break the box. What is it doing?
Nothing.
Waiting to 10:30. Waiting for those day traders to get the hell out of the way.
You know, I'm noticing like that last candle was decent volume, but it couldn't move anywhere.
Couldn't move it. There's a bigger player here messing things up, guys. So I'm watching the action, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just one of those frustrate you markets, right? Where nobody, there's no real crazy low float guy moving too much. There's probably one or two out there. Nothing is moving from a sector point of view. Nothing's moving from an index point of view. And these are the days to, right? Don't make your broker rich, right? By trying to go the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've lost a little bit today, so I'm trying to stay smart here. I see the SPY starting to break there towards it. It's giving that fourth attempt. You see how the wick went right into that circle. Now we're getting that attempt that the volume, essentially the setup is for a breakdown here. So let's see if it does the breakdown, because of these three attempts to hold, reversal back, failed. Now you're going into that third zone again. Let's see if we just get a hard bottom, one candle that breaks this rectangle and then also breaks this low here would be that sign for me that, yeah, the wash is in here.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for some movement and not really interested in personally just guessing which way this breakout's going to occur. It's the same thing. Someone asked about Tesla in the morning, and we talked about this with Tesla there, and just said, hey, it's one of those things where you, generally speaking, don't want to spend too much time guessing which way Tesla is going to move. You just want to hang out and wait until it actually moves. So you get some sort of decision one way or another. I just don't. I don't. Same with the market. We've got VWAP. We're just tapping on VWAP, selling off. We topping tails. We got bottoming tails. Sometimes you just look at the chart and you go, you know what? That's a mess. And I just don't. There's nothing. I don't need to be involved in messes, and there's just nothing that I have to do there in a mess. So I can just sit out, wait for the mess to resolve.
I said, I'm looking for above 638. If it gets back into that spot, that's where I can tell you guys I'll be looking for a little bit of more of that squeeze to come back into play here. We just rejected that 637 90s. So I'm looking to see if we take out these little bunched up lows here. Let's see if we go and take it out now. Back above 638s, I'll probably flip, really. But hey, I'm riding it out, guys. Up 410 on that swing there, guys. So there it is, man. Not gonna probably hit the challenge because of this account limiting me, but looking really great.
So yeah, I would like to see one more sweep low, maybe either a higher low or taking out the low of the day, and then reclaiming that 637.50 for a potential long as well. But maybe we just run out of sellers right at this level. It's not clean then, I really like it when it's clean and you get the flush out, and then, that provides me more confidence buying at high levels like this.
Yeah, I'm even getting a little bit weary here. and going to go ahead and just put protection on the swing, right? A lot of times when I do this, get triggered out. Just putting it out there before I even drop it. Watch how quick it sometimes happens. Stops out.
Ethereum had a nice candle there.
961, 965 for the UUU. I have it out there. Let's see.
Oh yeah, we're bouncing pretty good there on Ethereum for sure.
Yeah, right off the yesterday's close at 3,800. Looks like.
Yeah.
Solana
I still like
as well.
Biddy. Still looking at Biddy. I got a piece here, guys. I'm risking off the 1780s. This is a short kind of ETF for Bitcoin. So just putting that out there. VXX still playing with people. SPY still playing with people. Guys, we're almost to 10:30. We talked about this at 10 o'clock that it could hold for 30 minutes. It might actually do it.
We got to start selling 0DT call spreads or something.
Oh, I'm sure someone made a ton of money in between that last 15 minutes.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people were betting, right? They were betting on a huge volatility event. I thought it would be a huge volatility event as well, and then we've just chopped sideways. So, yeah, once again, it's one of those 80 some odd % of the time the option seller is going to win.
Yeah, nothing ever happens, gang. Just raking it in.
Yeah.
All right, SPY's breaking low. I'm canceling my stop because it's trying to break that box, right? If it wasn't trying to break that box, I would not be canceling my stop here. Any bounce, I can put the stop right back out. But I'm also looking at the VXX here. Now it looks a lot better when it's on the SPY bottom there. Now the key is in this kind of next 2 or 3 minutes, if we don't break the low, I don't think it'll work. But now I'm at the point where I can take bets on again. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so good shout out there on SMCI. Nice breaking the pre-market high as well.
Good Lord. I don't believe that stock one bit, but hey,
SMCX,
it is coming back.
Right, if you want to go real crazy, you can go SMCX and get 2 times your money, 2 times your leverage there.
All right, guys.
Bucking the trend.
Really good here on UUU. It's time to close UUU, guys. It's time to cash it, guys. Let's cash here. Boom. Let's cash it. Bomb. Cashed, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Nice work.
Nice. $458 trade there, guys. Could get pretty with it, but that's just already pretty already, guys. I'll take that. So there you guys see it on the screen. Cashed it. Maybe didn't get to the 1,000, but not a bad trade at all. We'll take it. There's the VIX. VIX is starting to jump here, guys. I'm taking some into this move here. Let's go, SPY. Let's start to break some bulls. Let's go break those bulls. Go get some of these bulls out there.
So where it wicked is exactly that hourly trigger there. So I'm keeping a very close eye on that.
It could come back. It could come back 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. These aren't like super clean levels. They like to undercut, reclaim, and get like double bottoms or something off of them.
So that's why I'm keeping the tight on the VIX.
I'll just remind everyone that, right, everyone's waiting to short the market because we're overbought here. Just I go through the chart if you guys want. I already did. I looked at the last 5 years of every time we got overbought.
But we're not short. We're not necessarily, at least we're not early overbought. We're at 77s. Overbought is above 80s.
It depends how you look at it. Most thinking is 70. It's 70-30 is the standard RSI for 14.
I'm
a breakout trader.
Like, probably put it at 80-20, but hey, it's what you guys want to do with there.
Yeah, if you go back and you look at every time it broke,
I just
70,
look at historical reference. That's what I look at. Historical reference, I think, matters more than the blocks. But I'll tell you what, I think someone's talking about oscillating indicators sometime soon.
He sounds like a smart guy, whoever that is. I would tune in.
Guy with the best mustache on Wall Street, baby.
Yeah, I'll be doing.
When's that up, Steve?
I appreciate the segue there. Yeah, we're going to be doing a webinar on oscillator indicators. So we're going to be talking about RSI. We're going to be talking about MACD. Going to go into some more exotic ones, but we're also just going to be really kind of trying to work with these in ways that maybe you aren't super familiar with. I feel like with a lot of these basic indicators, people just kind of brush over them or don't even really understand how to actually use them, but they're always on your chart. So I think it's a good thing to go over there.
Oh yeah.
Big
And
candle on
there
Apple.
you have it there, guys. That was a perfect segue there.
Oh, well, and I hope you're gonna do everyone a service and show them. I can get you a back test for it too. I'll send that over to you. I
There
think
you
that
go.
will help to not buy when the RSI is oversold and sell when it's overbought. That's like it's in every textbook, and it is absolutely, if you do the exact opposite of that, you buy every time it hits overbought and you sell when it hits oversold, you make way more money. It's just crazy. And
I can show you the difference there on historical reference, guys, and why I talk about historical reference, because what I like to look at is the actual chart. When did the RSI match the price action? Where price actually follows the RSI. And so historical reference to me is more important. If the stock has a tendency of turning around at 90 RSI, I could care less at 70 RSI. 70 is giving me no edge, right? So that's why I talk about historical reference. Just what I look at. But I think that's for me, I think it's a better way of looking at it, because you're judging the RSI based on the stock, or in this case, an ETF, but itself, the way that it's always kind of worked. And when you have more data like you do on the SPY, you can really see what are the times that it spikes and comes back, right? When it spikes and comes back, those are areas to look for turnarounds.
Yeah, and so it gets even better if you go to the SPY over 80. If you're buying it when it hits over 80, that's even stronger signal. Andrew Caldwell is an amazing. If anyone wants to go
90, I would love for you to do the test at 90.
I could do that. I bet you it's amazing too. Because what is it?
I will bet the opposite. I'll put some lunch money on that one.
Well, let's just do it right now. Let's say what are we
at 90?
We're gonna buy when it breaks 90, and then we're gonna sell when it crosses back under 70 or under 50.
We can run it. 50. We can run it, guys. All right, SPY still playing around here, guys. I still think like it's playing around. What do you guys think? We're still just playing with people here, right?
I think we're getting seller exhaustion pretty soon here. If we don't get a breakdown, maybe in the next half an hour, I think that we could really start to be putting in a base.
It's tough. It's tough here.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those looks where every other candle you could infer bullish or bearish. So for me, you just got to revert to the higher time frame bias and primarily try to keep bias out of it and just see what the price actually does when it breaks those key levels that we mentioned to the up and downside. So
yeah, I think we're trying to get back to like a trend line look, right? So anything back to there, like 637, right? I don't think we're going like really down today. I just think it makes it harder to go up on a day like today, with so much out there. And then I think they're just waiting for the big boys. And so a lot of times I feel like they put it tough on you, and then all of a sudden they grab the big boys and they have some fun in the earnings parade. We'll see what happens out there, guys. Definitely a little bit more of a boring market today, I would say, just because we're not doing much, right? And this is how it's going to go into, I think the big boys get through, because people don't want to take big bets when big tech is going to run the show. I don't even care too much about the Fed this week. I don't even care too much about economic data. I know it's important, but I think the big boys are going to run the show. Yeah. They disappoint big. Amazon, Apple. We're not going to be holding on too much.
And that's what we can take a look here, right? So this is, again, we're back to Trend Spider. So very simple back test, right? RSI greater than 90 today. That's our buy condition. And less than 90 yesterday, and then you just set an exit condition. Let's just start with a number of candles. So we'll do
SPY coming down a little bit.
That's 2 weeks. And you can run it, and it will actually run this for, you got to run it for a long time. Go back 10,000 candles on the S&P 500. I don't think it's ever
VXX.
I don't think it's ever hit 90.
Wow.
So let's do 85.
RSI on the daily?
Yeah.
On the SPY?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty crazy. I can't recall getting that high.
Yeah, there's only one trade that it's ever gotten 92. Over 75.
Wow.
What's your settings?
So then, my settings are off. Then I don't know what it is, but TC's has it above 90 multiple times.
What's your look here. Back? Is it the 14 that everyone uses?
14. It's the 14.
Huh. Strange. It's saying there's only one, but
You
if you
see,
just
like,
do
I can,
70,
at least from my chart, it's showing up like
70.
3 or 4 at least just in the last 2 or 3 years.
Hold on, am I on something weird?
Maybe it
I'm
might
on
be
the
my
SPY.
TC charts that are the RSI is a little off, but
Yeah, so I did this. So this is, again, something cool just to show, and this is a partner that you get if you buy an account at Trade the Pool. So I'm just going to call this RSI overbought, and you can test these things. So over the last 10,000 candles, the last 10,000 days, if you go and take a look at, this is the equity curve. If you bought the RSI every time it broke 70, if you bought the S&P 500 and you sold it 10 days later, this is what your equity curve would look like over that period of time. There's a 74% chance you're correct. So meaning 74% of the time, 10 days later, after the SPY gets overbought, it's higher. So again, you want to buy, you definitely don't want to short in that scenario. And then if you run it again for 80, you can see, well, now there's only 10 positions. So maybe then you look back and then you can just start to experiment, right? So instead of, let's run it, instead of hitting an exit condition of candles past, let's just do a simple exit condition of script. And then we'll just use the RSI again. And let's say RSI less than, I don't know, 50. So we're buying when the RSI gets over 70, and then we're holding it until it crosses back under 50. Now you're about 56% accurate and a decent looking little equity curve. So this is how you can start to build very basic. And what we'll teach you soon in a webinar that's coming up is how to, if you like this, you could just click deploy a bot, run it in your Trade the Pool account, and not do anything else. Right. So you start to see what values make sense. And more than anything, prove it to yourself, right? So in this case, I now know this is, again, buying what I put in, buying when we get overbought, and then selling when we get oversold, as opposed to the opposite that the books say. And this is what I'll send over to Steve. This is a very simple, right, no nonsense test of I'm just going to buy overbought and sell oversold. And look at this. It's going all the way back to 1995. You skip 2000, you skip 2008. You skip some of 2020, not a lot of it, and then you skip a lot of 2025, and now you're back up to highs. So I'd rather trade this equity curve than the opposite of this, which is buying when you're overbought or oversold and selling when you're overbought. So,
well, I think you really framed it in a great way. Just talking about how I forget exactly what you said, but they tend to just keep squeezing higher. 10 days later, they're higher than they were. I mean, for me, I think the Bollinger Bands are a great example of this, like buying when you enter that squeeze, or I'm sorry, when the squeeze comes off and you start, pressing out of it, and, you sell when you just stop doing that. And also on the Bollinger Bands, like that'll kind of happen where the Bollinger Bands will get expanded and then price will expand higher, So you really, you don't want to fade these trends.
So I looked at the RSI on multiple, and I don't know what it is on TC. It definitely has a lot higher than most. How's
sure
it
you don't have
calculating that? I'm not sure.
Well,
one thing I looked at a different one, right? So it's just reference. And so for me, reference would say that, okay, so on a different one, maybe it's the 78 or the 80 spot, right? And so I don't know, we could adjust it there for different charts, right? We can change it back.
Just about to blow both your guys' minds, because what if you add Bollinger Bands to the RSI? So this is something that I've seen a couple people do with great success. And then because first of all, you have to know what these indicators mean. So an RSI overbought just means that you have an overwhelming demand for stocks. So the question is having an overwhelming demand for stocks a bad thing, right? Is that bearish when people really want to buy stocks? Is that something that we should look at and say, well, and then same as when the RSI is oversold, you're saying people really want to sell stocks. Well, is that
but there's also a point where it gets too much, right? Too much. And so pullback is needed, right? And so that's where I would come in and say historical reference plays in. Because
and this is the beauty of using something like the Bollinger Bands, because what it's doing is it's putting a moving average on the RSI, and it's looking for one standard deviation break of the RSI. And I can run this for you guys as well, but spoiler, right? You want to buy when the RSI is surging higher, and then you want to sell when the RSI is surging lower, because it's just very important. Go study the math. You don't have to be crazy with it, but I guess with ChatGPT, you could just throw the math in and say, what is this? And the RSI is essentially the average up moves versus the average down moves. And if the average up moves are really, really strong and the average down moves are really, really weak, I'm in, right? I want those. And again, it's all about time frame. But, we've just determined that when the RSI gets overbought 10 days later, there's like a 76% chance you are higher from that price. That's a good thing. Right? And again, play with this. Someone said, yeah, you can do this in TradingView as well. You can. Absolutely. They've got
plenty of different places.
Yeah, the same kind of back tester. With TradingView, you have to code it. Or you have to ask an AI to code it for you. With TrendSpider, you can do it. I just showed you how to do it. It's a little GUI interface. So, but yeah, you could ask the same question. And that's what I just always encourage people to do. Or, right, just manually go back. This is what I talked about on Trader TV on Friday. I just looked at every time the RSI spiked dramatically and to get over 70. And I just marked them all on the chart. And you can look at what happens. And I went back 5 years. That back test went back like 20 years. And I just went back and I said, hey, what happens? And in pretty much all cases, it was either a higher move or range bound, which is another way for these conditions to get back to some sort of normal value. So you don't have to push higher or you don't have to pull back. You can just consolidate for a period of time.
RSI can go down with consolidation, right? And so, but I've seen it on the historical reference game really work out. So I think I'm going to do a little bit more testing, and maybe it's just the RSI the way that TC has it that it works for me, but I don't know what it is. But
and again, if it is, then what you just got to ask what's the difference, because you might be onto something.
Yeah, no, and and then the key here is always understanding what you're saying. I completely agree with you that it's showing strength, right? My biggest thing is try to not keep it to like the standard numbers, the standard whatever they're giving you in the book, because I think it matters more how the stock has reacted in the past at those levels.
Well, yeah, and then again, that's where you could play with, RSI and moving averages. I've seen people do that. RSI and Bollinger Bands, where you're saying, hey, if the RSI stops moving, right, and the Bollinger Bands around it will condense, because Bollinger Bands are just standard deviation around a moving average. So basically, how much does the thing oscillate or move around a moving average? And this is where trading systems come from, right? Is you take what I've given you and say, okay, RSI over 70, we buy, we hold for 10 days, we make money. Great. Now, does that work on all stocks? I don't know. Then you start expanding it out and you start to say, and I've done the test. Most stocks, if the RSI surges, you end up buying them. That ends up being a better strategy than the other way around. And then you take that and either you apply more indicators as well, and you could end up going through and refining it with other things like price action. Like, maybe you go through and you say, okay, once I've determined that RSI spiking is a good thing, well, maybe I don't just let a robot trade it for me, but maybe now that's a scam, right? Show me everything that yesterday the RSI was under 70 and now it's over 70, and just give me that list and let me go through and see which ones are interesting to me. So these are starting points to potential trading strategies that you can then expand over time as things go.
Big levels to watch here, guys. We'll see what happens if we start to actually make a move here. It's just been a chop session. I do have the VXX long here, looking to see if we break out towards the 4090s, and then I can really take a shot here. I am still down on the day trading account, but only down 138 for taking tons of shots, which is still leaving me room to do what I did yesterday. Win once in the green, baby. So we'll see what happens here. I think that's the important thing, especially when you're getting this choppy action. The key is either not trading or being the survivor, right? Like being able to hang in there till you actually see the movement really kind of continue. So we'll see what happens here.
So slow. I didn't even notice I've got 4 trades on. So bought a little Jack in the Box. It's when the market is chopping like this, it's going to be mostly my mean reversion strategies that trigger, because there'll be stocks drifting up and stocks drifting down. So long a little bit of Jack in Box, short KULR. Never heard of this one, but long a little bit of this guy as it pulls in.
What are they, drones? I think they're drones.
Probably. And then short a little BTU. Tack, cover your ears. I know you're a fan of this one, but short a little bit of BTU as it kind of bounce up. This play is essentially just a 2-day VWAP, or a second day play, you could kind of say, range. It marks whatever the level of the VWAP was yesterday. You can see right here is where the VWAP closes at, and then looks for stocks that were down a bunch and are now bouncing into it to short that. So about flat on the account. But this is the way this mean reversion kind of strategy generally works, is you have a load in period where you're looking for these overextended moves. And then, the hope is that in the day, later throughout the day, most of these things kind of converge back to some sort of mean. That's the idea behind mean reversion. And then you get a push from there. So that's what, there's always a potential of like 50 trades that could trigger, but I know that on average you're going to get between 1 and like 7 or so actually trigger, because the targets I have in this. So I could even show you, I have a list, trade the bull day trade right here. Right. So SMCI, I was looking for a little bit higher, right? NNE looking for a little bit lower, right? And these things could potentially trigger, but the idea is I'm essentially just using a daily chart for my back tests and saying I'm looking for wide range candles, unusually large candles for that stock, like Mitch was talking about, looking relatively back at that name and saying this candle is unusually large. My testing says if it continues in this direction, another series of ATRs from that range, then you get a little bit of mean reversion. You exit those at the end of the day. You repeat. And I did a little, this is what I've been playing with myself. I did a little bit of, if I can grab this, machine learning on these strategies. Last night I borrowed a buddy's and grab this. Here it is. So I was able to back test these 6 strategies combined, going back 25 years with a little bit of machine learning optimization. And there you have it. It's showing, I don't really believe these numbers entirely, but it's showing a 70% year over year gain with a 25% max drawdown, which
I'll take.
I don't believe. It's $100K to $576 billion. So it's one of those
So set it up. Let's do it.
In the perfect world, you always want dramatically inflated numbers, so that when the real world,
in a laboratory environment, this is what would happen, right?
Right. So if the real world comes in 1/3 of this, I'm obviously still happy.
Exactly.
But these are
you
the
sometimes
models.
want the performance in back testing to outperform, right? So that if you underperform, you're still making a ton of money, right? So
right. And it's you always know there'll be some degradation from, I include slippage, I include commissions, I randomize missed trades to make sure, so there's a lot of robustness testing you do. But at the end of the day, you realize that there will be some degradation from the backtest world to the live world. So that's why you overshoot and backtest, so that when the real world comes in less than expected, you're still doing well. If you backtest something and it has just like a very tiny little edge, well, the problem is when you get to the real world, that little tiny edge is probably nothing. So you want to have a huge edge in backtest that when it shrinks down is a small edge. But you can see the power there is not that any one of these strategies is insane in and of itself. It's that as you combine a lot of them, right, when the red line's going up, the green line's going down, and when so all of these colored lines are all the different strategies, and then the shaded area is the combining all those strategies. So that's the premise why I always say more trading is better as long as you have an edge. Because as you stack these strategies on top of each other, the hope is, and I run like correlation matrices and all this kind of stuff for it, but the idea is that you have uncorrelated strategies. So when strategy A sucks, strategy B does well. And this is why you can see that I never care about any individual trade, because I'm just hoping that en masse, This is why we're called systems traders, because I'm not trading the stocks, I'm trading the systems. I'm trying to make sure that the systems as a whole have some sort of gain. So I don't know what KULR is. I will die happy not knowing what this company does, because it's just one of hopefully thousands of trades I have left in my life to take.
Yeah. Great
All
way
right,
to look at it
guys.
for sure.
Did reopen up a new trade within there. Closed biddy went with ETH just based on the chart and potential return. So went short on ETH 3584s, 300
ETHU?
shares. ETH standard. Buying power in my small account won't really help me on ETHU. So I just went with ETH, just standard ETH. And so this is the grayscale. And so I like it here. I think it looks exactly like ETHU, right? Like if you look at ETHU,
Yeah, of course. Well,
look at ETH, it looks exactly. It's just cheaper, and I can get more share size. And I'm just trying to play it back to the 90 MA. Like if we go red today and we looking like we're going red, the VIX is really starting to jump here. That is perfect way for me to play this.
Yeah, no, I see it for sure. How's the liquidity on ETH versus ETHA? Because that's the one that I've been trading.
Pretty good, man. 1 cent spread.
Oh, well, there you go.
1 cent spread is all I need to hear.
The market making with all this stuff would be relatively easy. So you better believe that there's a whole bunch of market making bots on these things.
ETHU is a little wider sometimes. It does go like 20 or 30 cents, but
the 1Xs, it would be very easy to set up a series of bots that, because the futures are so liquid, right? You would just do stock versus future market making.
Exactly.
And yeah, you're making penny spreads there.
You guys have it up already $45 on 300 shares. And of course, I made today $450 on one trade. So who knows? Maybe this one can get me to the 1,000. Maybe on the second trade, we get it. We'll see what happens there.
Ethereum is one of those things that it could pull back ever so slightly and still be incredibly bullish. So you can make a lot of money on the short and still have it, because you got to remember, we doubled almost, right? We ran from 2,000 to near 4,000 in a straight line. So say it pulls back to 3,500, right? That's a big move from here and still super bullish, guys. Right?
VIX coming down, or VIX going up, SPY coming down a little bit.
So we did just get the tag on the close. This is what I was looking for. I want to see what price does here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look there. You guys can take a look at the charts, because I'm as bare as can be. I don't think I'm as objective as can be right now. Let's go.
I mean, well, you're right. So far,
and you don't need to be. Right, we're up 7 days in a row, right?
Yeah,
if we have one or 2% down day, that's really I think even the bulls at this point are looking for a 1 to 2% down day.
Yeah, VIX is running away from my entry now, up 110, guys. Remember I talked about how I was down 130 here today, taking multiple shots. That's what kept me in the game. That's what got me to this moment, right? So at this moment, all I'm looking for is a nice like $200 trade. Keep going in the right direction, $200-$300. I'll take it. VIX can keep running, so let's see what happens really here. How much the SPY wants to drop. That's going to help that Ethereum trade. I'm almost up $100 on that Ethereum trade already. Biddy wouldn't have been a bad move. To me, I needed to get so much sizing. I didn't go for it. But if you look at that chart now, I mean, it looks great to the upside here. We'll see what happens on that basing here. And what am I seeing? Those momentum trades are breaking, guys. I saw them breaking yesterday. I tried to talk about it early, because a lot of traders will not give you that early look when they start to see momentum break down. And these are the high flying names, right? The flying names from last time are not flying. HIMS is kind of hanging in here. Still hasn't closed the gap completely. That was one name that I'm keeping an eye on. But the VIX now starting to really lift here, guys. And part of that sign that gave me the look was the amount of volume that started to come in it yesterday. Yeah, there were some people taking bets. Now the question is, how far will it run, right? This is just more of a seasonality bet. So we don't know that it's going to continue to break down, but it is putting some pressure on the traders today.
Yeah, PayPal news. I'm just looking at Walter's thing. He's talking about the only news that's coming out. So JP Morgan might be taking the credit card from Apple, which I think is currently run by Goldman Sachs. So
Correct.
I looked at those. Most of those things.
Is it JPM?
Yeah, JP. It's doing what the SPY is doing, right?
Yeah.
But Goldman Sachs is and Apple are moving, and then the other news was BlackRock talking about stable coins. So maybe take a look at like
what about
Circle or something. Circle's holding up really, really well.
Circle's holding up?
It's
that's one that I wouldn't bet too much against. I like the XYZ short today. I didn't trade it, but let's just see how it did. Ooh, it's looking good now. Why did I like this short? I've liked this to the long from the breakout, but now with PayPal's earnings, that's set block up for a nasty day. That's set block up for a nasty day, right? So XYZs looked at bullish, but then all of a sudden a major competitor in the space gets an ugly report. Well, guess what? You can quickly change the mentality of fundamental investors with PayPal down the way it is. Look at XYZ starting to break hard now. It did your strategy that you like, Michael, the above the VWAP, like kind of pushing strong. This stock has also been in a gap away, so kind of makes sense at some point to see some pullback. Perfect day to do it, right? With PayPal pulling back.
These boats, I don't know. Are you coming across this on Steve on TradingView? This boat exchange that keeps popping up.
BOAT.
Yeah, if you
I've
look
been
at
trading that, man. That's a good one. That's a ETF.
No, not the
Wait,
ETF, the exchange. Like, look, here, I'll show you.
An actual exchange boat.
Yeah, so it's like you type in Apple, and this happens sometimes where you have Apple up here, but then it defaults to this boats exchange.
Oh,
I had to look it up. This is the 24/7 market. So this is Steve Cohen's 24/7 market, I guess, launched, and it's live, and that's fantastic. But then I go look at my Owlet price, and there's NYSE, and then there's boats. And sometimes it's like I want to like go to TradingView's office and like shake them and say I'm obviously looking for the New York Stock Exchange version, not this, because there's just no volume on it. But just so you know, it's launched, so that means 24-hour trading across everything. I think it's 24/5 right now, so it will trade kind of like Forex. But yeah, so you do this, and then everywhere they have every listed symbol on this boats exchange. I just wonder if you were coming. It's just upsetting me.
No, that would bother me. I'm surprised I haven't encountered that yet. Actually, I'm sure I'll start doing it constantly now.
Yeah, you bring up Netflix, and then this chart pops up, and you're like, "What the heck's going on?" And then it's defaulting periodically. That's what Netflix actually looks like. However, just a gentle reminder to everyone to say, this is coming. 24-hour trading is not. We already have one exchange, the NASDAQ, the NYSE, the Amex, like 4 or 5 other exchanges have applied. A couple other billionaires. Robinhood is going to tokenize securities so they can be traded worldwide, 24 hours and worldwide. So get ready, get systemized.
Yeah,
it's coming.
It's exciting.
All right, guys. We'll see what happens, guys. I'm going to start wrapping up. I got to get out of here in just a minute or two before the close here. You guys can close up the show. But I just want to tell you guys, hey, it's about battling and staying in battle, right? Today I had this like look on the VXX, got out 2-3 times, also took a loss on SBET, but now right back to break even. If I wanted, I can just take the money out and continue going. I think sometimes these are very important days for kind of day traders to see, because these are the types of days that can really kind of keep you in. And then now the move is starting to happen towards 11. We talked about how after 10:30, the first hour and a half of the day traders have a tendency of leaving. They got chopped up, and now we're actually picking a direction. Sometimes it's just as simple as that, waiting for some of the action to blow through to then see an actual direction get picked. And you might get chopped up in between that. But if you stay small enough, in the case that I did, I left myself window to take one good trade and be back in, right? So from 4 losses can go back to 1 trade green, right? So that means I'm keeping my risk to return pretty much between a 4 to 1. And so if I can keep that, hey, we're not looking too bad, right? That means I only need to be 25% accurate. And if I only need to be 25% accurate, hopefully I can fall on the right side of the coin, right? All right, guys, that's going to do it for me at least. I'll put Michael's charts up. We're wrapping up in just a minute or two here. But you guys have a great one. I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Like always, keep battling. See you at 8:30.
All right, take care, Mitch. Have a great day.
Yeah, I'll let Steve get the final word in here. But the way I'm looking at it is that we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days without breaking the low of a prior candle. At some point, like I joked about, even the bulls want to see this happen because, eventually, right? What's the record? Is 1, 2? I think there's like 9 days without a pullback. Again, doesn't mean we need to go lower. Means we need to consolidate at some point, and that means at some point that we need to break a prior day's low. So that's why you can see I have that marked here, and I have an alert set there because at least if we break that low, then maybe I'll be interested in buying a little bit of a dip. But until then, we're just kind of smack in the middle of yesterday's range with nothing happening. The SPY is down 0.01%. RSP is up 0.01%. Like, I don't know. What do you do? Do you see anything else crazy, Mitch or Steve?
No, I'm seeing basically the same as you. My just average daily move targets for the downside would be right about yesterday's lows. That would make complete sense. Yeah. As long as we hold over 635, 50-ish, I think we're totally fine overall. I'm even watching for SPY to maybe get some giddy up pretty soon here. And if it can reclaim 637.50, let's call it, we could entertain longs again. But either way, just trade what I see. Like you said, totally healthy if we pull back. So
more economic numbers tomorrow. I know I really hyped everybody on those economic numbers that did nothing, but it's not my fault. Blame Forex Factory that said it was a big event. But if you look tomorrow, non-farm payrolls, advanced GDP, Bank of Canada, if anyone celebrates, but pending home sales, so a bunch of numbers tomorrow, and like we talked about, a bunch of earnings tomorrow that are interesting, right? So specifically Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, QCOM, ARM, right? So these big guys are reporting. So could be another one of those, we're done for the day, and then we just kind of chop around for a while, and then tomorrow hopefully things pick up a little bit. But always remember, it is July 29th, so we're smack dab in the middle of summer, so don't go crazy. But awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by, Steve. Remember, if you want to learn about oscillators, definitely learn about them from my buddy Steve. I know he'll do it right and not say you buy when it reaches oversold and you sell when it reaches, because that, you can tell, that triggers me a little bit as someone. It's just because you can see, like, you can just go test it. It's obviously wrong, but anyway, rant for another time. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and we'll see Steve again soon. See you later.
Take care.